Stop. Don't buy that picks package or all access. Wait, what? Yep. Don't click add to cart until you check out our new deals page at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo, where you can find all the latest offers, promotions, and coupons available all in one place. These deals are updated daily and can be found by clicking deals in the nav at WagerTalk or Sports Memo, going to wt.buzz/deals, or scanning the QR code on your screen.
Welcome into First Pitch, WagerTalk's premier MLB betting show for Wednesday, May 11th. I am Drew Martin. We're breaking down 3 games on tonight's slate with 2 of the best in the industry. We got Ariel Epstein from MLB Network, Yahoo Sports as well. And we got Adam Trigger, WagerTalk.com, alongside to break down the games. Going around the horn here. Ariel, welcome in. How you feeling this Wednesday?
I was feeling better around 9 a.m. Eastern time when I got some really good numbers on K-props. Now I feel terrible because it's time of day where I go on all these shows and get to give out my picks. All these K-props have moved in the direction that I bet them in. Unfortunately, now you're getting worse numbers, and I feel so bad about it. So I'm going to try to give out some stuff throughout this show that hasn't moved in some crazy direction yet.
Ariel just moving markets there, the prop queen. We got Adam Trigger as well. He's been known to move some markets. Hey, on the other side of the world, Korean Adam, and in MLB, he's seeing it well with 5% up at WagerTalk.com. Trig, welcome in, buddy. How you feeling?
What's going on, guys? No, I feel good. MLB's been great. 3 in a row, and it's I think I'm close to 60% for the season, so right where I want to be. Baseball's been great so far this year. It's been a nice turnaround since not so good college basketball season. So hopefully we keep on rolling. And yeah, I've got a 5% up tonight that I like quite a bit. So check that out on my page.
Absolutely. Guys, we got 3 competitively priced games on tonight's slate. We're breaking down a quick look at the afternoon games as well. Starting off here on the West Coast in Los Angeles area, we get the Tampa Bay Rays and the LA Angels. We're seeing minus 130 mostly. Looking at the WagerTalk odds screen, that's the Angels as the home favorite. Low total here of 7. And, of course, 2 good pitchers on the hill. McClanahan, the lefty, going for the Rays. And Ohtani, arguably the best player in baseball, going for the Angels. What are you thinking tonight in Los Angeles area?
I'm looking at some unders, whether it's first 3 or first 5. I like the first 3. However, I'm pretty sure I saw it at a 1.5, which is extremely scary. Maybe first 5 under for this spot. Now, the reason I'm looking at unders is because the Ohtani factor, he's been 3-0 with a 1 ERA in his last 3 starts. It's a really good matchup for the Rays starter, Shane McClanahan, who's a strikeout pitcher. He's up against the Angels, who are a strikeout lineup. This team is top 10 in K rate, even against lefty pitchers. And the Rays have won. They won with McClanahan on the mound against the Angels last year. McClanahan's 1-0 with a 2.70 ERA against the Angels. And in addition to that, I just don't see the first 5 innings, or at least the first 3 innings, getting to the point where these lineups are going to start hitting off these 2 pitchers that have been on fire. Ohtani also in the last couple of years has been a way better home pitcher than he has been on the road. I like that first 3 under or first 5 under in this spot. And I know that you guys have a side, so I kind of agree with, I think, the side that Trig might be giving out. But I did look to the under because obviously there's a reason that this number is sitting at a 7.
I like it, Ariel. Yeah, and Trig, to Ariel's point, I mean, this under, look, it's low at 7, but the fact is, I mean, what, pitchers park here? We get 2 of these pitchers. When you look at McClanahan, to Ariel's point, 16 strikeouts in the last 10 innings pitched? He's been lights out, the former first-rounder from USF. And Ohtani, his last time out, 7 innings, 0 earned runs, 11 strikeouts versus the Sox. Man, both of these pitchers I'm not looking to go against. I was looking towards the under, but you're liking a side, huh?
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you guys on the under. It's a low number, but we've been seeing low numbers across baseball. So suddenly 7 is all of a sudden 7 isn't that low, because if you want to just a point of reference, you've got a 7.5 in Seattle, Philly this afternoon with Logan Gilbert and some no name that Philly's going to trot out there. So maybe 7 isn't that low of a number for a total anymore. But I'm looking at the Rays here. Ohtani's a great pitcher. I'd even say he's an exceptional pitcher at some points, but I do think he gets a little overrated as a pitcher because of how good of a player he is. And I think this line is telling you that Ohtani's the better starter And I would strongly disagree with that here. I think McClanahan for the Rays is the superior starting pitcher here. Drew, we talked about McClanahan last year, and I'm just going to go from what I saw last year to this year. Last year, McClanahan, he was kind of predictable. Everyone knew he was going to throw that slider to try to get batters out. He didn't have quite the command. Walks were an issue, and major league hitters figured out, how to go up and have an at bat against him. Whereas this year, he's mixed his pitches up so much better. He hasn't walked more than 2 guys in a start more than once this year. And that's really important, because if he's not walking guys, even if he's going to walk to a start, I'll trade that for how nasty his stuff is. Because he's a lefty with an incredible slider, and his strikeout stuff is as good as anyone you're going to see in the league right now. 3.06 ERA, 0.99 whip. So if you want to just go off numbers, I mean, he's certainly not worse than Ohtani. And I still think the Rays are a better team than the Angels. Just long term, I think this Rays team will still be right in the mix in the American League. I'm not saying the Angels won't be. I'm actually higher than, I was high on the Angels coming out of the gate this season. I still am. But then you throw in the fact that there was a no-hitter thrown last night. They're going to celebrate Ohtani's MVP, which is just some added fanfare that probably takes away from his concentration a little bit. And the Rays coming into this series had been so dominant in this matchup over the years. I think 20-6 leading into the series against the Angels. So just on based off of numbers here, you're going to give me a plus price on McClanahan in this spot. I think just for a straight numbers play, you have to look to the Rays to bounce back at a plus price. I think the numbers make sense.
Good analysis there, Trig. And talking about kind of the fanfare beforehand and in the ceremony, it's interesting how sometimes that affects guys negatively, man. That's a great point, kind of just specifically towards this game, because it happens in other sports as well, in terms of just kind of taken away and it being specifically towards the pitcher. I think that's a good look there, guys. We got 2 games left, but first, Ariel, I noticed that you had a great video on Twitter. Guys, you need to check this out, at Ariel Epstein. She breaks down the Marlins and the Diamondbacks. And actually just wanted to take a quick second here of the show before we get too far down, because we got about an hour and 40 minutes from when we're talking right now, about 2 o'clock Eastern time, until first pitch for about 4 games here. We got the Phillies and the Mariners, the Marlins and the D-backs, the Rocks and the Giants, and the Cubs and the Padres all going here in about 2 hours time. So just wanted to go around the horn real quick with any quick looks you had on the day games. But guys, first to Ariel, I'll throw it over to her for her looks on that. But also, you broke down Sandy Alcantara in his strikeout prop, I believe, on today's game. Guys, the info she just gave out was great in terms of his day-night splits. And if you don't know any background about Alcantara, where he's come from in the Dominican Republic to where he's at now, it's just he came from a very difficult upbringing, didn't come from much. And he talks about this. I know this as a Marlins fan, Ariel, of where he's came from and playing baseball where they didn't have lights. And I think that actually translates to him having success in the daytime. I don't know if you think I'm crazy there, but it's true in his day-night kind of splits here. He's throwing better baseball in the day. He's really good at night, but also in the day. I didn't know if you think that had an effect, and if you just wanted to kind of recap on your video and any other day action you might have today.
That could have an effect, Drew, because a lot of these pitchers are such creatures of habit. In Major League Baseball, you're throwing more night games than you are in the day. Maybe it just doesn't bother him to have the short rest, especially because it's Pacific time, since they're out there on the West Coast. It did concern me. Well, I guess it's Arizona, so I guess that it's a little bit different. I think their time's different, but whatever. Anyway, there was the 1.87 ERA last year for Miami starter Sandy Alcantara. He was great in the daytime. And the thing was, this was a fishy line today. Saw the line move from plus 100 on Miami to minus 110, making this even for both sides. Majority of the action was coming in on the Diamondbacks. It was about 66% of bets, 77% of money. It was backing Arizona. Why was the line moving in favor of Miami? Well, not only is their starter great in the day with the 1.87 ERA last year, they also have the bullpen advantage with the 8th best bullpen. The 28th ranked bullpen is the Arizona Diamondbacks. So you've got a good starter and you've got a great bullpen. That's why I could see this line moving in favor of Miami. I did like the first 3 under. It's now heavily juiced at minus 150 for the under 2.5. However, looking at both these pitchers, Alcantara has not allowed for a first 3 to go over 2.5 at all this year. And the starter for the Diamondbacks is Merrill Kelly. He only allowed for 1 game to go over 2.5 in the first 3. Both these pitchers are really good in their spots. Merrill Kelly's better at home than he is on the road. He's home today. I'm going with that first 3 under of 2.5 runs. If you could get it for less than minus 150, that's great. Lean Miami, however, taking aside sometimes just maybe. I haven't. That would be the side I would take if it was a side for the game, would be Miami. They're the sharper side, at least from what I've seen.
Sure. The near pick'em price. I like getting him at the plus price, but with him on the hill and that daytime, nighttime split, guys, I think there's something to that. Trig, any thoughts on that and any other quick day action you might have?
Yeah, so I broke that game down on WagerTalk today, so I won't go too into it because you find the full breakdown there. But in general, Drew, now that the calendar has flipped to May, the weather's starting to get a little bit warmer. I think for as far as full game totals, I would only look to be betting overs at this point where you can find a good spot because of just the ridiculous number of unders we saw in April. I think it skewed the market a little bit, and you're getting very fair prices on some of these overs. You know, our friend Dave Koken says you never want to be on a full game under. Well, Drew, the reason for that is because the extra inning rules still help you tremendously to get those overs if you end up in a tie game. And this is one, Marlins D-backs, where I could definitely see 8 or more runs here. You know, it might not come early, but Merrill Kelly threw 106 pitches last time out. It's a season high. And Ariel already pointed out the Diamondbacks bullpen, not great, probably easily a bottom 5 unit in the league. You know, Alcantara's got good numbers in the day, but he does, you know, if you go back to last year, his numbers are far worse on the road. You know, he was holding hitters under 200 batting average at Lone Depot Park. Last year on the road, hitters hit 247, and Chase Field is as good of a hitter's park as you're going to see. The roof is open, which means the ball probably carries more. I'm assuming they've got the windows open as well. So, you know, I think you could easily get to 8 or more runs there. And then Mariners Phillies, you know, Logan Gilbert's had walk issues, and it's hindered him going deep into games. He has a hard time getting out of the 5th or you know, getting to 6 innings because he's walking guys. And, you know, the Mariners bullpen's a little bit banged up. The Philly pitching scenario is horrible right now. You know, they've got Eflin and Wheeler both missing time for COVID. Now they're going to throw Bailey Falter, who's essentially a reliever. Girardi already said he's not going to go more than 60 to 65 pitches. That Philly bullpen's been bottom 5 all year, and it's essentially going to be a bullpen game. And Philly might have to hold back a little bit because they don't know if they're going to have a starter for tomorrow, and they just played a doubleheader on Sunday. So you could see a scenario there where if they get behind, they might just throw the bottom of the barrel out just to reset their pitching. So 7.5 when Logan Gilbert, you know, his numbers have been good, but there's some underlying metrics that suggest he might get hit going forward, specifically the fact that he's putting guys on base. I wouldn't be surprised to see runs there either. So I like the over in the Mariners and the over in the Diamondbacks. I just think overs are going to be the way to look on full game totals going forward.
Guys, next game up, night game here. We got Houston Astros, Minnesota Twins. Trig, coming to you first. Hottest team in baseball. That's the Stros, commanding a minus 120 price tag. Can get them as low as minus 115. We got Urquidy on the hill for the Stros versus Chris Archer going for the Twins. 8.5 the total here. Let's call it minus 120. Astros on the road. You liking anything in Minnesota tonight?
Well, it's tough to bet. It's tough to bet against the Astros right now. This is one team, specifically, you know, just in the past few years, they're always at the top of the league, and they're one of those teams where when they get rolling like this, it's tough to go against them. The way I would play this, Drew, I would wait to see if lineups come out and see if Byron Buxton is playing. You know, it's possible him and Luis Suarez could be back tonight, and if they are, I think it gives the Twins a legitimate chance to win this game better than the market sort of suggests. I think the market right now sees the Twins without them in there. You know, the Astros, it's not a spot I like to bet the Astros. I feel like they've kind of peaked right here. And Chris Archer, you know, he hasn't gone deep into games, which is a concern, but I do have him as a slight edge in terms of the starting pitching. So I'll kick it over to Ariel. She might have more of an opinion about this game than I do, but what I would say is wait till lineups come out. If Buxton and Araz are in there, I think you're actually getting some value on the Twins, and I would look to the Twins at the plus price in that case.
Ariel, Trig's kicking it over to you.
I'm on the same page as Trig, just with some numbers. The Twins are 13-6 with Byron Buxton in the lineup. They're 5-6 without him. He hasn't played since Saturday because he strained something in his hip. Buxton is a key factor in the heart of this Twins lineup. They're at a good price at plus 105 if you want to go grab it, if you think Buxton's going to play. This team was ravaged by injuries yesterday. I mean, they were missing about 5 key pieces of their lineup due to COVID and injuries. If you get back at least 2 of the key players, like Trig was mentioning, including Buxton, then Minnesota could be at very good value in plus money. I don't really like going against the Houston Astros ever because it's just they're one of those teams that I just hate fading. And there's no real reason to it except for the fact that this team is always just really good. But that would be the way I would play it. Is Byron Buxton is definitely the heart and soul of this Minnesota Twins lineup, and it's good plus money value if you can grab him. Chris Archer's also been pitching pretty well. So I don't really have a full play in this game, but that would be the way I'd look at it.
Sure, and to Ariel and Trig's point, sometimes when the Astros get rolling, they are just tough to step in front of. And sure enough, they've won 8 straight. Pena stepping in for Carlos Correa, of course, going to the Twins, playing against his old team. However, he's a little bit banged up with a finger issue. Astros 10-7 on the road. Actually, interesting point here towards the under, guys. We are getting 8.5. Your liquidity's been good for the Stros, like Trig touched on. Archer's been decent at times for the Twins. They're 19-40. They're over-under trend combined. So huge under trenders for really both of these two teams. At 8.5, that might be a look towards a lower scoring game. Guys, we got one game left. We got best bets at the end. Huge shout out to the chat box. Everybody joining us live, please smash that like button and feel free to reply below on the WagerTalk YouTube channel if you're watching on replay. We got the Sox and the Braves, the defending World Series champions here, Ariel. -120 up to as high as -$1.25. That's the Braves at home. Total of 8. Eovaldi versus Ian Anderson. You liking anything? Red Sox and Braves in Cobb County.
I like the Braves on the money line. The Braves have the 4th most home runs this year, while Nathan Eovaldi, the pitcher for the Red Sox today, has given up the 2nd most home runs in Major League Baseball. It could be a good matchup. Now, I know if you look at the numbers for Eovaldi, he's done well against the Braves in his career. The thing is, he hasn't pitched against the Braves since 2018. Very different pitcher, very different lineup. The Braves also have the bullpen advantage. They have the 10th best bullpen ERA in baseball, whereas the Red Sox are ranked 21st in bullpen ERA. I think that the Braves are just the better team here, and they have the better starting matchup because Ian Anderson's on the mound. Anderson pitches pretty well at home in his career, so I'm going to go with the home run versus home run, and that's given the edge to the Atlanta Braves, plus the bullpen advantage as well.
Defending World Series champions at home. What are you thinking of the ATL tonight, Trig?
So I don't disagree with Braves on the side. But again, this total feels low to me. And I'll start right where Ariel kind of nailed it with, Eovaldi's already given up 8 homers this year. And that was in a cold April where the ball really wasn't carrying all that much. Now they're in Atlanta. Weather should be great. Ball should carry just fine. And against a Braves team that now has Acuna back and is hit the ball out of the ballpark. So I certainly think that helps, the cause for Atlanta to score some runs. And now Ian Anderson, he, Ariel's going to laugh because I'm going to say it again. And she says I've told her the stories 10 times. His dad was my high school baseball coach. So I've watched him I rarely miss an Ian Anderson start.
I knew this was going to come. I knew this was coming.
But here's the thing, Ariel.
I can tell the story.
I've noticed that I feel like he's not fooling hitters the way he once did. In 2020 when he came up, his changeup was so deceptive that he would throw it over the plate and no one could hit it. Last year he's still obviously a part of the World Championship team. His numbers were still excellent in what was probably his true rookie year. Because remember, 2020, even his quote-unquote rookie season, he only had 6 starts. This year, the numbers are starting to regress a little bit. And I have to wonder if, he's just getting a little bit easier to hit in terms of, they've got a book on him now. and he's going to have to adjust to not become like an ERA in the fours type guy, which is what he's been so far this season. The Red Sox, they finally broke out last night, 9 runs and there was a combined 13 runs on 17 hits in last night's game. So, and the Red Sox have seen him. Because if you go back to 2020, remember the AL East and the NL East were playing each other quite regularly. So I think they've seen him 2 or 3 times at this point. And then the Red Sox bullpen, still a bottom 3 unit in the league. So I look at the number here, and 8 just feels low. I feel like some of these games that we're seeing over 8 should be either over 8.5 or over 9. I would not be all that surprised if the Red Sox and Braves both got to 4 runs. And if they both get the 4 runs, then you've got a winning ticket in your pocket. So I lean toward the over here, and I don't disagree with Ariel's side play, but I definitely see some runs in this game.
Great segue to best bets. And guess what? I do disagree with Ariel's side play. Great analysis on the show, but in this one, I think she's on the wrong side, guys. For my best bet, I am on the Boston Red Sox. We get the better pitcher right now, at least in current form. Eovaldi touching 98 miles an hour, 36 strikeouts already on the year, and under a 3 ERA. Ian Anderson, guys, 18 to 15, dismal strikeout to walk rate. Like Trig just went into, that changeup isn't working the same this season. And the Braves, kind of a World Series hangover, under 500, not playing well at home. We're getting the Sox putting 9 runs up just last night, and also leaving 9 on base. So they had a bunch of guys seeing it a lot better last night. Just a 2-game series here in the ATL. I think they sweep them tonight, and we get plus money on the Boston Red Sox. So, hey, I think we're buying a little bit low as this offense starting to wake up, and we get the better starting pitcher as well. So I got the Sox plus 112 tonight, guys. Nathan Eovaldi as the listed starter is how I'm playing it. Throw it over to Ariel Epstein at Ariel Epstein on Twitter, the Prop Queen by some. Guys, check her out, MLB Network and Yahoo Sports as well. Ariel, any final thoughts for the show and best bets?
Best bet, going that first 3 under 2.5 runs in the Arizona and Miami game. All the reasons I gave out earlier in the show. Sandy Alcantara, the Miami starter, has a 1.87 ERA last year in the daytime. He pitches better in the day. Merrill Kelly also pitches better at home, the starter for the D-backs. Kelly has only gone over 2.5 once this year, whereas Alcantara still has not allowed for a total of 2.5 to hit the over in the first 3 innings yet this season. Going with that under of 2.5 in the first 3.
Like it. And we got Adam Trigger as well. Guys, 5% play up and available at WagerTalk. I got one as well, so check them both out. Adam Trigger's experts page, Drew Martin's experts page. Trig, any final thoughts for the show, buddy? And where are you going for best bets?
I think Ariel should also try to get the Prop Queen Twitter handle locked down. I don't know if someone has that, but we got to try to get it for right in a best bet for the show. I do have a 5%er up, but best bet for the show. I like the Rays at plus money. Something we didn't really elaborate on when we were breaking down the game is that, they're going to celebrate Ohtani's MVP. And I don't care what anyone says. The fanfare is tough when you're trying to focus and pitch a Major League Baseball game or even play a Major League Baseball game. It's tough to have all of the other bells and whistles going on. Just go back to the opening series this year when the Braves essentially celebrated their World Series all weekend long. And I believe they split with the Reds. They were lucky to not lose 3 of 4. And we saw the Reds basically lose every game for a month after that series. So, you go back to previous years, it's always a thing. It's tough to win that, banner unveiling night, the ring ceremony. It's just a distraction. And now you've got the equal distraction of there was a no-hitter last night. So the Angels come in feeling good. The Rays have to come in, on high alert now. They just got no hit. And I still think Ohtani, as good as he is overvalued as a pitcher because of how great of a player he is. But right now, when we're evaluating him here, he's in the lineup every day. So that's baked in. We just need to look at him as a pitcher. And I don't think he's a better starting option than McClanahan for the Rays, who's quickly becoming one of the elite starting options in Major League Baseball. So I think if you're going to give me the Rays at any sort of plus price, there's some value there. I like the Rays to bounce back and get it done in Orange County tonight, Drew.
I like that look, Trig. Elite analysis there, guys. We got best bet recap. I'm on the Sox plus money, plus 112. We got Trig there, plus money as well. It's plus money night, guys. Rays plus 115 on the road behind McClanahan. And we get the Fish in the D-backs. This one, also note, guys, going here in about an hour and a half. First three under 2.5 for Ariel. So check her out. MLB Network, Yahoo Sports, Trig and myself, WagerTalk.com, 2 5% plays up and available. Again, guys, huge shout out to the chat box. All you guys joining us. Nathan Cantor. We got Buck G in the house, Jeff as well. Always appreciate you guys chiming in. Feel free to reply below, guys, if you're watching on replay here. Any questions, we'll get them out on the show. What you're betting tonight, all is welcome. So for Adam Trigger, Ariel Epstein, I am Drew Martin. Best of luck with your bets. We'll talk tomorrow. Come back and join us.
Stop. Don't buy that picks package or all access. Wait, what? Yep. Don't click add to cart until you check out our new deals page at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo, where you can find all the latest offers, promotions, and coupons available all in one place. These deals are updated daily and can be found by clicking deals in the nav at WagerTalk or Sports Memo, going to wt.buzz/deals, or scanning the QR code on your screen.